Okay, so we're not that far off from 3 years since ChatGPT gave us this chat interface with LLMs. And whether we're looking at OpenAI's ChatGPT or Gemini, or in this case, as you can see here, Claude, these interfaces have changed massively. We're starting to, all different buttons for doing different things. And over the same time, using the APIs, we've gone from very simple little frameworks like LangChain right through to much more advanced agentic features, etc., that we're seeing. And one of the key things that these lines between what do you program and what do you just type in are very much starting to blur. So I would say the big champion of this has been N8N. I know a lot of people have used this. Even people on my team have used this. We've got a self-hosted version of this, trying it out. And it is a really good tool for people who want to be able to put together an LLM app workflow, but don't know how to do the coding, don't know how to do that. And there are other ones out there as well. And another one that's been around for a while is Lindy. And I think there are multiple ones that we're seeing at the moment. Now, the latest entrant jumping into this game is Google, and specifically Google Labs. So if you don't know, Google Labs is a product-focused team. You probably all know Notebook LM. That also is coming up to about 2 years old. But this was an idea started inside Google Labs of how do we make a sort of RAG system that makes it easy for people to just dump their documents or put in web links, etc., and be able to communicate. And of course, it really took off after they had the voice or the podcasting feature. Interesting fact is that was originally planned to be its own product inside of Google Labs called GenFM. But for a number of reasons, it got folded into Notebook LM and has been a really big success. So this brings us to the latest sort of public preview from Google Labs. And all of these products generally are sort of previews, right? They literally just sort of get it going and then put it out for people to try out. Unfortunately, at the moment, this is for US only, although you may be able to get around it with a VPN, etc. But the idea here is to build something perhaps a little bit along the lines of your N8N or your Lindy, but to make it really simple that people can build their own LLM workflows. This is not quite at the level of hardcore agents yet, but it is allowing people to basically build something where they can chain prompts together, use various models, use some of the tools that Google makes accessible, and they can prototype these workflows to come up with perhaps a proof of concept for what you could then code up later on, or can just build mini apps for things that you need to use quite quickly. So the idea here is pretty simple. You're going to basically tell Opal what it is that you want to build, or you can take some of the examples that they've already got and basically remix those. And then it's going to map out a set of steps of where you can see various things going from one point to the other. Now, some of those steps might contain tools like we would just think about with agentic apps, etc., of where you would search the web, you would get a web page. But then you also have other steps that are basically using the Gemini models to do things like write an outline, write a blog post, create an image for something like this. So the idea here is you've got a no-code way to be able to simply make these workflows and be able to save them and reuse them in the future. So the cool thing here is they've got a gallery with a bunch of different ones already in this. And I think the easiest thing is let's just jump in and start remixing some of their apps and start making some of our own. Okay, so jumping into here, we can see that we can basically just open up one of these or we can remix it. So what I've done here is we're going to start off with this blog post generator. And this is their original version. Let's just run it and see what happens. So if I come over here to start and I say, I want a blog post, what's the topic that I want? I want a blog post about Opal, Google Labs latest product. Okay, so you can see that the fact that this is highlighted over here shows that I'm at that input phase. Now, I'm going to basically just press enter. Obviously, I could have spoken that in as well. And you'll see that it goes through each of these sort of steps as it's going along. So at the moment, it's doing searching the web. It's going to get some web pages. Then it's going to write an outline. Then it's going to write the post as well as create the banner image. So you can see that here we're actually doing sort of multiple things at the same time. And then finally, it's going to give us this display blog post at the end. So we can see it's already into writing the outline. Now, if we come into the console, we can actually see again here, what is it actually doing? So we can actually see there's the outline. Let's go back and look at the research. So we can see the research was calling Gemini 2.5 Flash. We can see it search the web. For each one, we can see, okay, what did it actually find? So this is a great way to actually just see ideas for how you could actually make agents and make workflows yourself going through this. All right, let's go back to, we've got a banner image. Okay, it's already made that. I'm running slow explaining this. And it's written the post in here. So if we go back to preview, we can actually see here's the full sort of thing, right? We've got unlocking your inner app developer, a deep dive into Google's new AI gem, Opal. And it's done a pretty decent job at writing a blog post. It's got key facts in there and stuff like that. I've actually generated a few of these and some turn out much better than the others. I wouldn't necessarily say this one is perhaps one of the best ones, but here's the thing. We can see that like, okay, it's written a reasonably generic sort of one. So what if we wanted to actually edit this, right? If we want to basically edit the different things in here. So first off, because the writing was actually done with Gemini 2.0 Flash, not the 2.5, which the research was done with. So what if we want to actually edit some of the steps in here? So we could come in here and we could say, okay, well, let's look at this outline. What's the outline here? Okay, the outline actually is, this is the prompt for it, right? This is the input that it's going to need. So it needs the initial topic and it needs the research going in here. We can see that we can pick a different model. So we can basically have Gemini 2.5 Flash, Gemini 2.5 Pro, we could use Veo, we could use Lyria. There's a bunch of different things in here that we can do. If we want to see the one for the image generation, so it's interesting for the image generation, it's actually using the Gemini 2.0 Flash image generator as opposed to using image gen 4. So maybe let's try changing that. And we can see, sure enough, this is going to have a limited quota. Obviously, you could imagine in the future, there's a paid version of something like this. But we can see in here, okay, what would the prompt? We've got our prompt here. Given the outline, imagine illustrative futuristic art that serves as a banner for the blog post and contains the topic in text. Okay, so what I want in here is I want the topic in the text. I need to get the topic. So I need to come over here and pass that down as an input in here. So you can see now I've got the input going into the image gen 4, and I can basically just wire this up. So let's go back to this and let's try running it again. And actually, before we run it again, I want a new user input. So I want an input where we're going to pass in the reader persona. So I'm going to say, please provide the persona of the intended reader in here. All right, we've got that. Now, I actually want to pass that into the research as well. So I'm just going to come in here and just use the @ sign and then go and say, okay, right, I want the reader persona in there as well. And then finally, this one should also have the reader persona. And we should change the prompt a little bit in here. Produce a blog post using the research report for the reader persona. Okay, so you can see I've edited a number of different things in here, and we can see it's really started to wire it up a little bit more. Okay, so I've reset it. Let's now give it, okay, the intended reader. The intended reader is an IT worker who is looking to do more automation in their job. Okay, so we've got that. Now it wants the provide the topic for the blog post, and it's already got our intended reader. Opal - Google Labs new LLM workflow creator tool. Okay, so it's got that done now, and it's going to go off and do the research. So let me just see how it's going to go. I've changed quite a number of things in here now. We've added in a second user input. We've wired that user input around to different places. We've changed the image generator to actually be image gen 4. So we're getting the latest thing, and we've asked it to put the topic in there. Now, I should have actually perhaps put this as get topic contains the at with the get topic in there. Anyway, let's see how it's going. We can see that that is what we put in there. We can see that, okay, sure enough, it's doing the research. It's created a plan. So this is very similar to the way like things like deep research work, etc., going through this. We can see that the output of that, it's basically got a number of different things. We can see, okay, it's talking about IT automation. So it certainly picked up the intended reader. It's already writing the post. So I'm going to rush through this a little bit. We can see our outline, your new best friend for AI-powered automation, no code required. So it's gone through and it's done exactly what we wanted. What did the banner come out like? Oh, okay. So we've got a banner with text in here. All right. Google Opal. So that's actually come from ImageGen 4, being able to generate that in there. So if we look at our final response out now, we've got our blog post that's heavily customized for the intended reader persona that we created in here. So I can use this now for a variety of different content. Now, if we go and have a look at the other ones that they've already got in here, we've got things like learning with YouTube. We've got a whole bunch of different sort of social media sort of stuff. A lot of the sort of standard things. We've got a product research that is something quite simple in here. What about if I want to make something from scratch? So I can just create new. And this is where one of the really cool things is that I could actually just go and start making the boxes myself and doing that. Or what I can do is just describe to Opal what it is that I want to make, and it will go off and actually do that. I want to make a tool that does literature reviews on archive papers and is able to find related archive papers to an archive paper that I upload. Okay, so you can see this is what I've basically put in. All right. And I'm just going to press start on this, and it's going to basically build out what it thinks that this should be. So we would expect that we've got some kind of upload. We would expect maybe a few nodes. Okay, let's see what it's done, right? We can see that, okay, it's asking for an archive paper URL, a literature review topic. These are the two inputs. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We can see that what it will do is actually go and get that URL. It will then basically search around the things. I know I don't know why it's gone to get weather. That probably is not needed in there. But okay, interesting that it's done that. We can see for each of these, it's made a prompt and it's made an output here. At any point, I can come in here and add new nodes. So if I wanted to have some kind of generate node in there, I want to use the deep research, right? So this is what I'm using, the deep research with Gemini 2.5 Flash. I could tell it what let's say I wanted to basically take that and extract out author information or something like that. I can basically go on and build a whole workflow with this. And this is the whole sort of advantage. This is in many ways, this is similar to things like N8N, Lindy, a lot of the different tools that are out there. But we've got baked into this things like Google Search, like the different image generation models, things like if I wanted to have a generate down here where I wanted to make a video, I can get it to do that, right? I can get it to make audio LM, so it can generate speech from this. So if I wanted to use it to make some kind of podcast, etc., this is also something that I can use in here. So I'm going to leave it there because I think you can get the idea for this. Like I said, this is currently in preview. It's a US only preview, but I think a VPN might be your friend here. As long as you've got a Google account, etc. Check it out, especially if you haven't used tools like N8N, etc. This opens up a whole new world for people who want to make apps and little useful tools that are basically LLM workflows or generative AI sort of workflows for doing a variety of different tasks that you would like to do. And then the cool thing is you can actually go through this and take these prompts and put them over into code if you wanted to actually develop something, with code. So that's Opal, one of the sort of cool new preview products that has come out of Google Labs. Really worth keeping your eye on this. This is just the first version. You will probably see a lot more things added to this. Just like with Notebook LM, over time, it got a lot more features as people started to use it. So check Opal out. And another thing, let me know in the comments, do you want me to do more things like N8N and stuff like that? Like, I'm very conscious that my channel is very much sort of a code first channel, but I'm even seeing from my own team that people are just doing things really quickly with these kind of tools. And often the key thing is being able to trigger these automatically from other things. So creating what I call triggered agents. And that probably deserves a whole video by itself about that. Anyway, as always, if you found the video useful, please click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.